All right, so you have a big, fat, massive, hot deal in your hands. However, you have no access and you have very limited information on the condition of the house. What do you do about repair expenses? What's up? Rafael Cortez here, back on the Wholesaling Business Blueprint series. Very common question. You're talking to a seller, you're negotiating, and then you get to the point where you're talking numbers and everything, and they say, okay, send me your offer today, and now you feel like you have this big, fat, massive deal in your hands. However, they're not too cooperative when it comes to exchanging information, to letting you know what the condition of the house is. So what do you do about it? Like, you can't see it, and they say, okay, you have no access, I still want an offer. And you feel like you gotta send something in because it's a big, fat, massive deal that you have in your hands, so you don't wanna just let it go, right? What do? So here's the thing. You are not a contractor. You're not a contractor, you're not an appraiser. You're there to lock up a deal for under market value and then sell your vested interest to somebody else who's gonna come in and flip the property. So all you have to do, wrap your head around this, is very important. All you have to do is understand that you have to build a cushion of profit into the deal, right? So in my company, we have it by default. By default, this is if we haven't seen the property, if they're, even if they're saying that the property is move-in ready and it's in excellent shape and it's the best property in the block, even if they, tell us all of that stuff, we still factor in $12 a square foot, okay? $12 a square foot for the rehab budget. You need to work in a rehab budget into your deal as you're working your formula, whatever the formula is. You need to work in a rehab budget into your deal when you're working the formula. Whatever the formula it is that you're using, you need to build in some cushion for the repair expenses, all right? Now, the way that you do it, if you don't have access, if you haven't seen the property, maybe you get some pictures and whatnot, you still do a $12 a square foot. Why? Because it's a decent, regular kind of like cosmetic type of repair budget for the typical property. Now, it's not going to be pinpoint, all right? It's not going to be exact, but it's going to give you that cushion that you need in order to make that offer, somehow, some way, make it work to get the signatures back. Now, if you come in and there's something massive that you hadn't seen before, like foundation problems, roof problems, or whatnot, you can go back to the seller because you're in your due diligence period and then just readjust, right, for the rehab expenses. However, you don't want to just leave an open contract with no rehab budget in it. Why? Because the numbers are going to be bigger, and then it's going to be just tougher to get them down to that point where you need them in order to wholesale that agreement, all right? So come in with a $12 a square foot. That's what we do in our markets, and we do that in a couple of different markets. If that's not the number for your market, figure out what it is. If you're in a higher end, area, probably the rehab expenses are going to be, higher, so you can do 15 or 20. But have a set price per square footage that works for your area, and then build that into your equation, right? Do not make an offer without factoring in some rehab budget, right? Again, if you have very limited information, if you don't know the ins and outs of the property or all the details, you're gonna trust what the seller is saying, but you're gonna verify later down the road. Now, you need to make an offer right now, factor in at least $12 a square foot, and then go with that, right? It's gonna give you a nice little cushion, at least to get rolling with that rehab expenses. So you have something to work with as you're coming into the deal, and you don't get blindsided by big, massive repairs. If there's big, massive repairs, you can always come back to it and then try to renegotiate. Worst case scenario, everything stays as is. But now at the very least, you have that cushion of $12 a square foot on your initial offer, right? So that's what you do if you have a hot deal, no access, very little information on the property, and you need to make an offer right now, all right? Factor that in and work it that way. I hope that helps. Now, the louder we get, the more people that we impact. So help me share the love and subscribe, like, and share. Stay focused. You got this.